Hello, this is Matt at CoverNow.com. Today we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of HSAs or health savings accounts. Now we're going to talk about the ugly part of a HSA. And when I say the ugly part, I'm not talking about in the plan design or how they're set up. It's really an understanding of the process. Because if you're not familiar with the process and how an HSA works, you're not going to be a satisfied client. In fact, in our experience, HSAs can tend to have the highest cancellation ratio of any other product in the individual market. And when we talk to employers and employees that maybe have HSAs, they're just really not happy with it for whatever reason. And really, the reason they're not happy is just because there are a lot of different parts to the product. It's not traditional, not a traditional plan like what a lot of people are used to. So we do need to be clear on how an HSA is different. So we're just going to touch base on that. With an HSA, you have your traditional insurance plan. I shouldn't say traditional. You have an insurance plan that's a high deductible, and nothing is covered until you reach that deductible. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing except your annual checkup. And what you're supposed to do is now take an additional, $250 a month for an individual, let's say, and put it in a savings account over here out of your pocket. And a lot of times people don't do that just because they got the HSA because it was the least expensive plan and it was only, let's say, $5 less than a traditional medical plan. But not being aware of how the plan works, they do not set up the savings account and they do not fund the savings account. So what happens is they go to use their plan and they have to pay everything out of pocket, and they're not pleased with the fact that they're paying all this money and yet they really feel like they're getting nothing out of it. So I would say that's where it really gets ugly, because you have a family where they're spending lots of money. These plans are still expensive. They still cost, could be $1,000 for a family. And now in addition to that, you should be saving another $300 or $400 a month for a family into that savings account. If you don't, then you will be paying for your medical expenses out of your personal checking or savings account because you didn't fund the HSA. In addition to that, I would say there have been some people that when they look at the HSA, maybe they Googled it or they talked to a tax guy about it. And when you do that, you're really just going to find all positive, glowing reviews about a HSA. You're not going to find a lot on the internet that says, here are the bad things to consider, about an HSA. And so that's important, because what's going to happen is you're going to read it, you're going to take some advice from this person or that person, you're going to go buy an HSA without really understanding the process. The process is, if I was to go to the doctor today and I had set it up appropriately, then I have a separate debit card that I use to pay for my initial medical needs out of that savings account. And if you do it that way and you fund it to the max every year or as much as possible, long term, the positive attributes of an HSA are true. But what we have found is very few people, actually fund their HSA to the max from year to year. So that is something to consider. For a lot of people, a high deductible health plan that's about the same cost, that gives you a lot of upfront coverage like office visits, prescription drugs, may be the better way to go. And then every now and then we do find someone that, maybe they don't have a savings account. Maybe they don't have any investments, or maybe they don't, haven't done those things yet. And then they hear about an HSA and they kind of think it's the one product that's going to, be that, infomercial product that slices and dices and does everything else too. That being said, the HSA savings account is not meant to replace your personal savings account or any other savings account. It should be in addition to those things, and it's not meant to replace any other type of investment that you have, for your retirement. It really should just be considered over and above those things. So an HSA may be the best for you. It may not. But you do want to be very clear in understanding the plan designs compared to like a high deductible health plan. And by the way, now there's not a huge price difference between an HSA medical plan and a high deductible health plan. It's a lot of times, it's within a few bucks of each other. So for the average, if you're an employer looking at this, for the average employee out there, you might want to consider a high deductible health plan that's not an HSA qualified plan, so your employee can get office visits and prescription drugs and things like that covered in front of the deductible. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. I'm Matt at CoverNow.com. Thank you.